I'm Johnny Vegas, and you're listening to KopTalk with Dunk. And all you other Liverpool sites, just stop embarrassing yourself, all right?
Yo, what up? This your boy Smooth, straight from New York. You're listening to KopTalk Podcast. Remember this, you never walk alone, but if you fuck with us, you walk with a limp.
Alright guys, how's it going? It is Monday the 24th of July 2023 and you're listening to the KopTalk Podcast, alright, in association with footballclubshares.com, where you can buy real shares in real football clubs and I get a kickback too. How you doing guys? Did you have a good weekend? First of all, if you came along to Saturday night streaming, I do thank you. We had a good night. We hadn't held an online sesh for I think that 2 or 3 weeks, so it was good to see you guys come along. It was a good night, but it is now Monday, the most boring day of the week. Is it the most boring day? I don't know. I think Wednesdays are pretty naff. Anyway, I'm not sure we've got much to talk about, guys. It's been extremely quiet recently. I did put a video out earlier on KopTalk.tv basically saying the same thing. You know, and when I'm not churning out content, be it videos, podcasts, emails, whatever, don't think I'm just sat around tossing it off, guys, because I can assure you I'm not. I'm like you. You know, I want to be talking about Liverpool and seeing what's going on. And unlike many of the so-called content creators out there today, I don't consider myself a content creator, but, you know, they can find something to talk about every day. I guess I could. I could, you know, make videos and podcasts about every transfer rumour that comes out every hour, and I would absolutely improve my revenue. There's no doubt about it. You know, the more content you do, the more money you earn. But I don't like to operate like that, guys. I would rather talk to you when there's something to talk about, all right? Now, that doesn't mean there's anything in this podcast of, you know, any excitement. I just thought it was time to surface and just have a look, even if it's just at stuff that's in the mainstream media concerning all clubs. You know, I really want to churn out a lot of content for you, but, you know, we just got to wait and see what happens. So, I expect things will heat up soon. We're running out of time. It's nearly the end of July. There's not a long time to go. The new season kicks off soon, and the boss wanted his peoples in before pre-season, really. But, you know, he has to do as he's told, so there's a lot of things we all want, and we've just got to wait and see. But I've got to be honest with you, I'm not, overly excited this summer. I went into the summer expecting this massive, excitement, and maybe I was deluding myself as usual when it comes to these owners. But, you know, let's give it some time. Let's see what happens. Let's judge at the end of the window. Because I think if we get a couple of new names in, people soon forget them long, periods of silence, and even forget the players that have been sold. So let's keep the faith. Let's not try and be too negative at the moment, because something has to give. And that's why on Saturday night stream, I was like, no, I'm not. Don't want to talk about the owners. I don't want to talk about any negative issues because it just pulls me down. So let's see if we can try and keep the mood. I'm not saying upbeat, but just normal, without any drama. So we can have a look and see what's in the news. Now, Romeo Lavia, I believe he is still under consideration. Right? No change on that front. I think Liverpool are just playing it cool to try and get that transfer fee down. There's a Belgian publication which, I think it's called La Denière or something like that. La Denière. They're claiming that Romeo Lavia is the main target for Liverpool, and that there's a strong possibility, basically, that the 19-year-old could make that switch to Anfield, and that he's waiting to see what happens. And I would believe that. I absolutely do believe that. How they would know that, I'm not so sure. I think anyone could start up a Twitter account, for example, and make those claims and be considered an ITK. ITK, for those of you who don't know, is a term given to is a term given to people that are considered in the know, and it's a social media term used mainly on Twitter. And me personally, I would be deeply offended if you called me an ITK. So I think it's more for the gullible and the maybe the younger people out there. I don't know, but anyway. I think Romeo Lavia remains a high priority, and I think Liverpool are just playing it cool because I think that the prices that are quoted for him are excessive. And, as much as I want our owners to spend and the club to invest in, in these new players and things, we can't be ripped off. It's as simple as that. We wouldn't allow it in our own personal finances, right? So if someone, if you saw something and went, I really like that car's worth $2,000, right? That car's worth $2,000. You're not going to pay $3,000 for it, are you? You're going to say, hang on a minute, it's $2,000. You know what I mean? So yeah, you try and negotiate, get the price down, and maybe you pay, all right, it's I'll give you $2,200, a little bit more because I really want it. This is the same principles, guys, as from our private and personal lives, those little paupers, those peasants. It's no different when it comes to, multi-million, billion-pound industries and things like that. So it's how much you want it, and everyone's got a different value, right? So, what someone might be worth to them might be worth a different price to us. But I still think that we're in there for him. One player that last week people talk about Kylian Mbappe, possibly coming to Liverpool, which is going to be one of the funniest things ever. But the name sells. And if I was to write a news article today or do a YouTube video with a catchy title that's got Mbappe in it and Liverpool, people are going to read it. Even if they don't believe it could happen, they're still going to read it, right? So beware of the content creators that are using that name in their titles at the moment, because they're just, why would you talk about something that is completely untrue? You don't see any videos on my YouTube channel, for example, in the last week to do with Mbappe, because it's fucking pathetic. Anyway, Real Madrid, right? 4-11 to sign him. Right now, if you don't know you're betting, that means you've got to put 11 on, £11, $11, €11 to make 4 profit. So you're risking 11 to win 4. That's because the bookmakers think it's really going to happen. To stay at PSG is 13-8. Okay, so you've got to put 8 on to get 13 profit. You get your 8 back as well if it comes off. But you know what I'm saying? Man United 16-1 and Man City 16-1. And Liverpool 20-1, which is an outsider. So looking at those odds, the bookies believe, this is Betfair, they believe that Man United and Man City have an equal chance of signing him and a better chance of signing him than Liverpool, hence why we are 20-1. All right? But listen, don't ever put money on players potentially signing for us, okay? Because it's an industry that's, people, football fans, if they want something to happen, look, he's been mentioned with us, it's going to happen, look, he's price, betting on football transfers is not like betting on a horse where you've got form and you can study how it's performed, etc., etc., etc. All right? Save your money, guys, because when it comes to football, we tend to bet, with our heart rather than, our brain, all right? So you'll save your money in the long run. So Real Madrid favourites to sign Mbappe, I would agree with that. And it does have a knock-on effect, possibly, hang on, I'm going to rephrase that. It doesn't mean there'll be a knock-on effect. There's a possibility, because if he was to leave PSG, maybe they might come knocking for a certain Liverpool forward. Okay. What else have we got? Manchester City are reportedly ready to rival Liverpool for French youngster Bradley Barcola. That's according to 90min.com, and it's a website that you should never pay attention to. It just regenerates news and tries to lure you in and everything. And, a recent report has claimed that Liverpool are keeping tabs on the winger as a potential replacement for Mo Salah. Can you believe it? Mo Salah, people throwing Mo's name out there as well. 90min.com, it's not a website you should pay attention to, but we haven't got much to talk about, so I'm throwing it out there just in case you've heard that suggestion anywhere. Okay, now reports in Spain say that Liverpool are reportedly ready to lodge a proposal to Bayern Munich for Joshua Kimmich. Yeah, it's true. And also Man City and Manchester United have been linked with sending proposals to the German giants to try and, quote, finalise a deal. Now, he's got 2 years remaining on his Bayern contract, and he's made 347 appearances across all competitions during his time at the Allianz Arena. I'm not sure that we should pay much attention to those claims. You may have seen suggestions that Fabinho's deal could fall through, his transfer to Al Ittihad, all right? Because his two dogs might not be allowed into the country because of, limitations or legislation regarding the import of certain breeds. And these are French bulldogs. And the suggestions that the deal could fall through if he can't have his dogs. Now, if that actually happened, I would really take my hat off to him and think, Fab, you fucking legend. I'm not going anywhere unless I can have my dogs, mate. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't leave my dog behind. But I reckon his chick might be in the background going, the dogs can stay with my sister. We're going out there to get the fucking buddy, all right? So I would very, 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 it's very, very unlikely, I would imagine, that deal's going to collapse. I'm sure that that deal will conclude officially soon. And the minute Liverpool have the money in the bank, you can see us stepping up our interest in other players. Another player that I spoke about on today's upload is Thiago. He's been linked all over the place at the moment, and there's reports over here in Spain that Sevilla and Real Sociedad are interested in him, which makes me wonder if his agent is pimping him around Europe, not just the Middle East, not Saudi Arabia, places like that, where them dodgy Saudis and things like that. He's now been linked with a possible move to Spain. It's basically transfer speculation, but why? Why are we hearing it? Where's it coming from? Is it just the publication, in Spain trying to generate a few clicks? Or is his agent actively offering him around? And if so, why? Is the agent trying to get a payday for himself? Cash in, get my client moved, I make a few bob. Is the player unsettled, wants to move back to his homeland? As Liverpool said, look, we're open to him leaving. What do you think? We can't lose all these fucking midfielders, can we, guys? What's going on? These are not the kind of things that I want to be reading about at the moment. Would you agree? We've got to be careful with that. So we'll keep an eye on it, though, and, just a little bit of caution there. It's like, that's interesting. Why am I seeing this player being linked with an exit? Well, maybe it's idle speculation. I'm not so sure, but we will keep our eyes and our ears open, won't we, guys? Right, let's have a look. What else have we got for you today? Let's have a look at today's mainstream media gossip. The Telegraph are saying that Tottenham Hotspur chairman Daniel Levy has been told he must sell Harry Kane this summer if he cannot persuade the England striker to sign a new contract. The Mirror say that news of Tottenham's ultimatum has put Man United back on alert over signing Kane, while the Mail say Bayern Munich have already had 2 bids for Kane rejected and are now preparing a third. Reports in Germany, they say Bayern are willing to offer Kane a long-term contract of 4 years, possibly 5. RMC Sport, which is a French media outlet, if you like, they say Chelsea have made an offer for Crystal Palace's Michael Michel Olise, I don't know how to pronounce his name, and the France under 21 forward already has an agreement in principle with the Blues. Fabrizio Romano, Mo Salah, he says Man City are already, oh my God, I can't read, are also interested in signing this kid, who has a release clause of about £35 million. Notice how I said this kid then to save pronouncing his name. Tancredi Palmieri says Al Hilal will bid €200 million, £173 million for PSG's Kylian Mbappe, and offer the France forward a 2-year contract worth €200 million a year, possibly with a release clause after a year, solely reserved for a move to Real Madrid. Absolute fucking madness. Gazzetta dello Sport, you know it's Italy, right? Chelsea are running out of patience with Romelu Lukaku as the Belgium striker is unwilling to move to Saudi Arabia and he's waiting for a European club to sign him. I really like Lukaku. If you ever get a chance to watch a documentary about him, I think it's on Netflix. It's very, very good. Express, Fabinho's move from Liverpool to Al Ittihad is at risk of collapse as the Brazil midfielder wants clarity on whether he can take his 2 French bulldogs into Saudi Arabia. Team talk. Atalanta's Denmark striker Rasmus Højlund wants to complete a move to Man United by the end of the month, having already agreed personal terms. He's 20 years old. The Guardian, they're talking about Zaha. He will join Turkish champions Galatasaray on a free transfer after leaving Palace. Telegraph, manager Marco Silva has rejected a £40 million proposal from the Saudi Arabian club Al Ahly and committed his future to Fulham. Team talk, Chelsea have reopened talks with the Saudi Pro League over selling Morocco winger Hakim Ziyech. Gazzetta dello Sport, English winger Callum Hudson-Odoi, 22, is close to being reunited with his former Chelsea manager Maurizio Sarri at Lazio. Nicolo Shearer says, however, Fulham are still trying to beat Lazio to the signing from Chelsea. I don't want to read from these shitty websites. Let's have a look. Spain. Atletico Madrid have contacted PSG about signing Italy midfielder Marco Verratti, but Liverpool are also interested. So Tottenham's Denmark midfielder Pierre-Emile Horsberg is one of Atletico's alternatives. Fucking hell, there's no wonder I can't string a sentence together. That's written terribly. Let's try this one. Gazzetta dello Sport. Italy striker Gianluca Scamacca, 24, could join Roma if West Ham sign Belgium striker Divock Origi from AC Milan after negotiations with Chelsea over Albania striker Armando Broja broke down. The Mirror. After leaving Liverpool at the end of his contract, former England midfielder Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is attracting interest from Saudi Arabia, Besiktas and Brentford. Foot Mercato, France winger Ousmane Dembele has turned down a 5-year deal worth £35 million per season from Saudi Pro League side Al Nassr to stay with Barcelona, where he has 1 year left on his contract. Germany, kicker Borussia Dortmund is the preferred destination this summer for Austrian midfielder Marcel Sabitzer after being on loan at Manchester United from Bayern Munich last season. Fabrizio Romano, Everton and what is wrong with me today? Everton and Atalanta are in talks with Almeria over a deal for 21-year-old Mali striker El Bilal Toure. The Mail. Wolves are expected to sell Daniel Podence after the 27-year-old Portugal winger did not travel with the rest of the squad to their pre-season training camp in Portugal. And we have Sky Sports. 2 clubs from Saudi Arabia are in talks over a deal for Manchester United's Ivory Coast defender Eric Bailly, 29. Bloody hell, that was difficult, wasn't it, guys? Yeah, we had a right bit of a stress there. Got an email here from Scott Cheatham. Great lad. Really love Scott. He's a good kid, and I know he's got a few things going on with Scott right now. I like Scott. He's nice. He says, all right, Dunk. This is sent 4 days ago. He says, hope you're well, buddy. Sorry I haven't emailed in for a while, but thought I'd try and air my current frustrations. As a football fan now, it feels like we need to have an opinion on politics and finances when all we want to do is support our team. On top of all this, the money is just getting stupid. The contracts these players are being offered just makes it hard as a working class fan to relate to them. 350 grand a week for Endo is absolutely crazy. Don't get me wrong. I will always love and support our team, but I'm really starting to get fed up with all the other stuff away from the actual football. This is why I've started having more of an active interest in lower league football and going to my local team. I think I mentioned this on one of the live streams. Just feels like proper football. No VAR, no political statements, but proper football. God, I can't wait for the season to properly start again. Sorry for the depressing email, and he's put a laughing emoji, and he's put YNWA Scott. I love you, Scott. Listen, mate, I feel the same. You know how I feel. My love for the top flight game died fucking years ago. I'll always have an interest. I'll always support Liverpool. We'll always love Liverpool to the day I die, as will you. But having a little side interest in something else, I'm not talking about what, if you're married and side interest like a chick or out like that. I mean a side interest when it comes to the football. It's just like that's why we're doing the Saudi Pro League thing on KopTalk TV next season, just to give people a little interest. I have a local side here in Spain, a professional club down the divisions, and I'm gonna go and watch some of their games this year because I don't know, it's just old school. You just turn up, watch it, can't you enjoy the game? You don't get ripped off, and I can't stand these players and all this money they're earning. Let's be honest, every single person listening to this podcast is just a normal human being. We've got fuck all, right? We've all got different levels of quality sort of life. We get by, we pay our bills, don't we, guys? Well, some of us get by. It's fucking hard sometimes, right? And there's nothing more soul-destroying, is there, when we're trying to get a few quid together to pay a bill or, the other week I got a tax rebate, right? I was buzzing. Fucking hell, they're giving me some money back, right? Less than 2 weeks later, maybe 10 days later, I get a tax demand. Basically, they want the same, near enough the same amount of money back. It's like, what's the point of giving it to me then? So, people like Scott, people like me, you listening to this individually, we're struggling through life and we idolise all these fucking idiots, really, that are on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds a week and they don't even give a shit about us. And most of them don't give a fuck about the club they play for either. It's mental. Absolutely mental. And I think more and more people are falling out of love with it. I really do, because they see the money and think this is just fucking mental. None of us begrudge anyone from earning a good living, right? We might look at it and go, fucking, I wish I earned that. And we'd all take it, wouldn't we? Because we want to look after ourselves and our families, right? But it's out of control. It's fucking ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and more people are turning away from the top flight game. And, I love football, Scott. I love football, mate, and I'll always watch Liverpool. But I keep one eye on the Italian leagues, maybe a bit of La Liga. But like I say, I'm going to go and watch my local team play. Yeah? I can't go and watch Liverpool. I suppose I could go and watch Liverpool play. If they were on my doorstep, I would. But to go to a Liverpool game is extremely expensive for me. I live overseas. That's my choice. We'll never understand it when fans, it costs me a fortune. Yeah, well, you support Liverpool and you live wherever you live. That's not the club's fault. But even if you live on the doorstep, it's fucking expensive. And I'm sorry, I can find better things to spend what money I have. To spend, what money I have, I can find better things to spend it on. So some people won't understand that if they've never been to Anfield. But the game is a fucking joke. We've got ordinary fans priced out of, watching football and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's madness. But, yeah, let's not be too depressive. Me and Scott bringing the mood down. Scott, thank you so much for taking care, mate, and good luck with everything that's going on. All right, guys, so let's advance. Let's give a shout-out to the squad. You can support this podcast by going to www.KopTalkPodcast.com. And for the cost of a coffee once a month, and a cheap coffee and all, I'm not talking about Starbucks or out like that. You can support the podcast, get all the adverts removed, right? And you'll be supporting me. Do you know what I'm saying? Me. All right, me. That's what it's all about around these parts, all right? And I'd love you, to welcome you into the squad. You know what I'm saying? Now, there are different levels of support available. If you go to KopTalkPodcast.com, you can pick one that that suits you. Yeah, you can be a supporter. You can be what's called a KopTalk member. You can be a KopTalk legend. Right, those are the 3 tiers that are available to you now. And I shit you not, I swear down, every single penny goes towards the hosting and making this all possible. There's absolutely zero profit from this for me personally. All right, so I do this because you guys appreciate it. And it's just your way saying, I appreciate that, so don't get yourself a drink. Do you know what I mean? In theory, it comes in once a month and it goes out on a fucking bill. So, KopTalkPodcast.com. Let's give a shout out, first of all, to our supporters. We have Ricky Harris, who recently joined the squad. This is correct. We have Michael Couchman, who actually is I'm calling him out too soon. He's a legend. We'll get to that in a minute. I'll start again. Ricky Harris, thank you, Liam, for supporting me. And Liam Buckland as well, and James Braid. And we also have Dale Baker, who joined the squad a few days ago. Last week, I think it was. Thank you, Dale. So Dale, James, Liam, and Ricky are supporters. We also have Wayne Brown, Vincent, Tom Brown, TG, Simon, Phil, Mark Bingley. We got Jimmy, we got Jamie Gilmore, we got Harry, Hamza, Glyn, Aaron as well. All right, they're all supporters that I've given you a shout out to. We have our members as well. Craig Halford, for example, Tyler Dean Williams, Paul MC, Matt Meeker, James Lee, Jack Wood, Jack Rudgley, Dave Kelly. We have Clint, we have Big Wave Dave, and Andrew Evans. They're the KopTalk members. And as a member of this podcast, you also get the extra videos and news things and all that as well, all right? But it's up to you what tier you want to support, okay? And then we have the legends. We've only got 3. But I really do appreciate that little bit of extra support that they're able to give me. And those 3 legends are Michael Couchman, David Sutcliffe, and Adam Naylor. Whether you're a legend, whether you're a member or supporter, I appreciate your contribution. Also, the guys that are still on an old tier called the fan tier, a legacy tier, you're still in there. I do appreciate your support. It's no longer available, that tier, but I was trying to help people out. So yeah, that's it. Thanks very much to those of you that make this podcast possible. If you can't support this podcast financially, right, you can support this podcast by emailing me, podcast@koptalk.com. It costs you nothing, all right? So I do appreciate your support, listening, whether you email, whether you're in the squad or whatever. All right, guys? So I hope you appreciate today's episodes. When I say appreciate, I mean, I don't want you to kiss my ass or anything. I mean, I hope you liked it. Do you know what I mean? I hope you enjoyed it. I promise you, I want to get more and more content out to all of you. But it's dictated to by what's happening with the club. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes even when there's a lot of news, it can be depressing, and I'm like, I can't face it. So let's try and keep our chins up and try and look forward to the new summer. And you know what, guys, we will see some activity. We will, and let's hope we're smiling. And let's hope we have a cracking season. All right, guys, I'm planning on being back with you tomorrow. All right, there's something to talk about. I'll be here with you tomorrow. If not, I will surface during the week, I promise you. All right, guys, www.KopTalkPodcast.com.